Ladies and gentlemen, I think this devblog probably has some of the most insane ships we've ever had in game. And that's not exaggerating. There are some humdingers in this devblog, ladies and gentlemen. Some of them we got a little bit of a whiff about them beforehand from Gamescom. Some of their images were leaked, surfaced, wherever you want to call it. But there are quite a few in here that I did not hear about and that are absolutely, well, there's no better way to put it, insane. So let's go ahead and get on into this devblog. Link to this devblog will be down below. I will, of course, be throwing up the images of these ships as we go through them, but you're going to want to check some of these stats out for yourself. We're going to go over like the general stats and such, but definitely, you're going to want to dive a little deeper into this. So you can check out that link down below. And while you are down there, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button and that subscribe button if you like these daily Warships videos. We try to keep you in the loop as soon as we can with all these dev blogs and general news videos, trying to crank them out as fast as possible once we get their release. But anyway, let's get into it. The devblog is titled Closed Test 14.9 New Ships Devblog. What a name. Captains, in today's development blog, we are very pleased to announce several new premium ships, including ones you've been asking for a very long time. That is very true for two of these ships, for me at least, and I'll let you know when we get there. But first up, Pan-Asian Cruiser Lanzhou, Tier 7. Hypothetical design of a cruiser with 180mm main battery guns, development of the Soviet Project 26 ships. The cruiser was named after an ancient city in northwestern China, one of the country's industrial centers, and the capital of the Gansu province. In battle, Lanzhou will primarily target enemy cruisers. Thanks to her great ballistics for the tier, you will be able to land hits on enemies with relative ease. This, together with good AP shell penetration, allows you to threaten even the heaviest battleships you may face. Her long main battery gun range, further complemented by the high-precision spotter consumable that grants the same improved dispersion effect as those found on Tier 9 cruiser Tianjin, will allow you to make the fullest use of your solid guns. However, she has a small HP pool and her protection is quite limited, meaning that you will have to be cautious of incoming fire, as the enemy doesn't have to get very lucky very often to sink you in short order. Combined with fairly average concealment for a tier, being able to go undetected might not be as reliable as you may wish. In summary, Lanzhou will excel in dealing with hostile cruisers as well as being a useful supporting cruiser against battleships and destroyers. However, due to a fairly weak hull, enemy return fire will be quite effective in taking you out if you're not keeping track of what's going on around you. So it's a Tier 9 Tianjin. Okay, pretty cool. That and this next ship are two of the most vanilla ones that we have in this devblog.
Bored, boring, dull.
So, moving on. A German cruiser Nurnberg 44, which is another Tier 7. Last German light cruiser ever built, she was the longest serving major warship of the Kriegsmarine and the only such ship to see service post-war, albeit under the Soviet flag with the name Admiral Makarov. Her wartime service was relatively quiet, following significant damage from a torpedo hit launched by the British submarine HMS Salmon. She mostly served in the Baltic and around Norway as an escort and training ship, until, like most surviving large Kriegsmarine warships, she was sent to the Baltic to provide fire support to German forces as the Red Army advanced into Europe. Following the capitulation, she was handed over to the Soviet Union, which operated her until newer ships entered service, and she was scrapped around 1960. Nurnberg 44 is an AP-focused cruiser with good ballistics, penetration, and improved ricochet angles, making her lethal against enemy cruisers, as well as a solid threat to enemy battleships. Her torpedo tubes, while limited in number, benefit from torpedoes with good range, speed, and damage. This allows her to be a notable threat to whatever she may face. Due to her short main battery gun range, Nurnberg 44 needs to get up close to do what she does best. However, she is extremely fragile for her tier, and it won't take many hits to send you back to the battle on screen. To prevent this outcome, the ship comes with both good base concealment as well as a short burst smoke generator. So use those tools wisely and choose your positions carefully to get the most out of your guns. Overall, Nurnberg 44 will have a vicious bite, but your jaw is made of glass. Keep your wits about you, as everything will want to try and take a piece out of you. Okay, so I'm more on board with Nurnberg 44. Sounds like a little more entertaining ship than Lanzhou. I mean, Lanzhou and Nurnberg 44, we basically have opposite sides of the same coin. AP-focused cruisers, but Lanzhou is more long-range focused. Nurnberg 44 is more close-range focused. So, okay, pretty neat, but, just kind of some copy-paste ships here. Now, the first of the really exciting stuff. French battleship Roussillon, Tier 9. Roussillon, however you say that. During the late 1930s, in light of increasing tensions around the world, the French Republic committed to a rearmament of all its military branches. This included the Navy, which is in the process of building the 4 Richelieu-class battleships. However, in light of intelligence regarding larger ships being considered by the Germans and Italians, they began working on a successor class. These efforts resulted in the Alsace class, but the design was never fully finalized due to the fall of France in 1940. One of the options considered called for these ships to be armed with 9 406mm guns arranged in 3 triple turrets in a conventional configuration. Roussillon is based on this design variant. The ship is named after a historical province on the Mediterranean coast of France, formerly part of the medieval Principality of Catalonia. Roussillon will be a ship with mighty armament on a fragile hull. Her excellent accuracy for a French battleship, together with good shell ballistics, makes her a perfect choice for long-range engagements. Further improved with her engine boost, she is able to deploy rapidly to wherever her support is required. However, she suffers from a significantly longer than average base reload time of 36 seconds. Holy crap. Meaning you have to pick your shots carefully to make every salvo count. She does have access to the main battery reload booster with an impressive 67% reload reduction and 5 charges, albeit at the cost of a longer cooldown of the consumable. Additionally, her weaker armor plating means that if you are subject to concentrated fire, you will not be able to last long. In summary, keep your distance and pick your targets carefully as you won't get too many volleys in. You can use the main battery reload booster to maximize your impact at vital moments, but your weak armor will mean you won't last long in a sustained fight. Dang, they had me for like half of that, but then long-range sniper, not exactly up my playstyle. Alright, let's see. Alright, so hit points, 69,000. That's not great for a tier 9, but she still has 32mm plating, so I'm going to assume it's the Alsace hull. Which, like, don't get me wrong, the Alsace hull, it can be tough, but you're coded in 32 everywhere. Every HE shell at tier 9 plus is going to pin you, right? So that's not great. 32-second fires, torpedo protection is 44%. Okay, so the main battery guns, 3x3, 406mm guns, so she gets 9 16-inch guns. So, like, a standard layout for a tier 9 battleship. What is the Sigma? 1.9 Sigma, that's not bad. 245 meter maximum dispersion. Also not too bad. But 23.4, yeah, that's not too bad. 23.4 kilometers. Alright, with 1.9 Sigma. Alright, we just have to see how French the dispersion is. I said it's good for a French battleship, which, I mean, that means maybe average accuracy, because if you guys haven't seen the Alsace and the Richelieu's dispersion, whew, it's pretty bad. Alright. So, what else? Consumables, damage con, repair party, 28-second repair party, 345 HP per second, 80-second reload time, 3 charges base. Okay, damage con, 15-second runtime, yeah. Engine boost, 15% buff to your engine speed for 180 seconds, 3 charges. And then you get, the main battery reload booster, 67% buff to your reload time, which, God, you're going to have, like, what? Well, with a 36-second reload, what's that? This probably works out to be, like, what, 15, 14 seconds-ish? So, like, what you would normally get on a battleship with reload booster. And then fighter or spotter in the 5th slot. Okay. Roussillon, yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But, okay. Interesting that they're bringing that one about now, finally, and we still haven't got our tier 10 Alsace with the 4th turret just yet. But, yeah, okay, Wargaming. All right, next up is the Bremen, a tier 10 German cruiser. This is big mines. It's wide mines, basically. I mean, like, look at the thing. Look at this thing. Like, it's big minds. All right. A further development of the powerful light cruiser design based on the Admiral Hipper class Cruiser K in-game mites, with greater displacement in the main battery and 4-gun turrets. There you go. The cruiser inherited her name from her predecessor, SMS Bremen, which perished in the Baltic Sea during World War I, and was in turn named after a city in northern Germany, one of the country's most important ports and shipbuilding centers. Bremen will play very much like the Tier 8 cruiser mites, thanks to a battery of 16 150mm guns and 4 quadruple turrets, with the usual for German cruisers improved penetration of her HE shells, allowing her to effectively engage all manner of targets. Her AP shells also benefit from very good penetration for their size, making this ammo option effective in suitable scenarios. She's also equipped with a large number of torpedo tubes, boasting long range. You will primarily wish to fight at a long range thanks to her shell's flat ballistics and torpedo range, compensated for her large size, making Bremen more vulnerable in close-range encounters. Her armor scheme and improved German hydroacoustic search means you can press the attack when required. However, her poor concealment and below-average handling make it difficult for her to engage in close combat without attracting enemy fire. Her consumable setup is your typical lineup of a repair party, damage con, a choice between fighter or spotting aircraft, as well as a choice between DFAA and hydroacoustic search. In summary, Bremen is your classic long-range HE support cruiser with the tools to close the range if required. Just beware of your poor concealment and large size, as you will be a primary target of those you wish to engage. Okay, so big Mainz. And like, Mainz is an excellent ship, right? So bigger Mainz is bigger Mainz, going to be a pretty good ship. You know, it's just Mainz, but, you know, they just clicked and dragged the picture out a little bit to make her a little bit wider. So just some quick stats real quick on the Bremen. 51,700 HP, 25mm plating, 30-second fires, 16% torpedo damage reduction, 16 150mm guns, 18.1 kilometer firing range, Sigma 2.05, her AP shells do 3,900 maximum damage, HE shells do 1,700, they pin 38mm of armor. That's great. So yeah, you know, 12 kilometer range on her torpedoes though, and she gets 20 torps. Wow, that's actually pretty dang usable. All right, Wargaming. So big Mainz with the hill. I'm on board with this ship. All right, good job, Wargaming, on that one. That's one I'm now excited for. Now you might be thinking, okay, big Mainz, is that the insane ship you're talking about, Sealord? No, we are now entering the insane asylum here, ladies and gentlemen, with the Japanese battleship Aki, Tier 10. I think it's Aki, right? Aki? Akazuki. So it's Akazuki, but you slice the Zuki off, so Aki. I'm going to do that. You can be mad at me if you want to be mad at me.
I don't speak Japanese.
A new mighty Japanese beauty, originally created for World of Warships Legends, comes to our virtual seas. Oh, it's this thing. What if the Japanese Navy had given a Yamato-class battleship the same conversion as they had Issei? Well, this is Aki. The ship inherited her name from a battleship that served in the Imperial Japanese Navy in the early 20th century, which was named in honor of the historical province in the west of Honshu Island. Aki boasts immensely powerful 460mm guns and her forward pair of triple turrets. They will allow you to engage any target effectively, and due to their forward placement, you don't have to risk exposing the famous Yamato-class cheek to bring all your firepower into action. That's alright, I can still hit you regardless. She is the most battleship-like of the hybrids, retaining her main gun's ability to end almost any fight with only a few direct hits. Compared to Yamato herself, her main guns are more accurate and have a faster reload time of 28 seconds. However, they have a shorter range, and her turrets suffer from a slow traverse speed. Okay, first off, Yamato is like the queen of slow turret traverse, so if it's slower than that, that's god-awful. So you will struggle to react to surprises. The key element of Aki is her access to an HE dive bomb squadron, giving her the ability to target ships outside her main battery's range. This squadron's strength lies in the large number of bombs it drops, as well as these bombs' decent damage and good penetration, though their long fall time is a drawback. Aki has a rather weak citadel, and while her armor is solid, she comes equipped with a repair party. Equipped with a repair party. She's best suited for captains who prefer to play it safe and keep their distance from the enemies. That said, thanks to the placement of her main guns, a bow and push remains an option if the situation demands it, but be warned, it's likely to be a one-way trip. In general, Aki will perform a role similar to that of Yamato and Louisiana, with the ability to strong influence a battle through her powerful main guns, but with the additional capability to target ships outside of her main gun range. So yeah, I forgot this thing was in Warships Legends until they reminded me of that fact. This is an abomination to mankind. They took a Yami, the pinnacle of big gun battleship in World of Warships, and they slapped a flight deck on the back. But, I mean, hey, the Japanese were doing it all throughout the war. So, yeah, but, copy, paste, now it's, converting from World of Warships Legends into the PC client. But, yeah. Alright, so 97,200 HP, 32 millimeters of plating, 60-second fires, and 55% torpedo damage reduction. I wonder if that was a typo with the Roussillon, where she had 32-second fires. That's crazy if true. But I think that might be a typo. Alright, main battery, 26.1 kilometer range. Short main battery range. 26 point... Did they say she has a short main battery gun range? Did I miss that here? They have a shorter range. 26 kilometers. That's not that much shorter. Like, my God. Alright. 28-second reload time. 2.1 sigma. They said they're more accurate. Yeah, 246 meter maximum dispersion. Okay. And 2.1 sigma. That's pretty accurate. Aircraft. The dive bomber is 1,500 HP for each dive bomb. You have 8 planes in your squadron. Shoo! 2 bombs for each plane, so 16 bombs. They do a maximum damage of 5,500. They pin 41 millimeters of armor and have a 24% chance of starting a fire. That's pretty potent. Alright. 27 knot top speed. Just get damage con repair party. So no fighter. No fighter or spotter. Fascinating. Okay, well, I get no spotter because, shorter main battery gun range over the Yamato, so I guess, there's that. And they are messing with the idea of, giving these squadrons the ability to drop their own, call in their own fighters. So maybe we'll see that here at the Aki. I don't know, but yeah, this monstrosity is now on its way into our game. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, it gets insaner after that. American cruiser Hawaii.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Tier 10, the third Alaska class large cruiser, not a battle cruiser, but it's a battle cruiser that the U.S. Navy built. So, yeah, you might be thinking, Sealord, what the hell is that? That can't be right. That's not in Alaska. Oh dear viewers, just you buckle up. All right, Hawaii was the third of 6 planned Alaska large cruisers of the U.S. Navy. She was the first U.S. Navy ship named for the then territory of Hawaii. Due to wartime priorities, work on her didn't begin until 1943, meaning she was incomplete at war's end, and her construction was ultimately canceled in 1947. However, as her large hull had not been fitted out with many of her systems, she was a prime candidate for conversions into other roles. One such role was that considered of the large command ship under the code SCB-83 from August 1951. This would have seen her superstructure completely rebuilt and her armament to consist of numerous modern 127mm and 76mm guns, as well as numerous radars and advanced communication equipment so she could coordinate amphibious landings and fleet command. This option, among others, was rejected and she was scrapped in the 1960s. In battle, Hawaii, while taking advantage of the reasonable tanky Alaska-class hull with its high amount of HP and solid armor protection, her main guns boast good reload speed and solid ballistics. She also benefits from an alternative firing mode, which provides a major boost to reload speed at the cost of significantly reduced main battery range and altered ballistics that make it difficult to shoot accurately at long distances. Her set of consumables include a surveillance radar, the same parameters as that of the Tier 10 cruiser Salem, so the 8.5 kilometer radar, and repair party in separate slots, as well as a choice between standard hydro and DFAA. Her downsides, as you can expect, are her sheer size for what is essentially a supersized take on Tier 10 cruiser Austin, and poor concealment. Lastly, penetration of her HE shells leaves much to be desired. Overall, Hawaii will serve as a rapid-firing support cruiser for your team with the ability to maximize her damage output in close-range engagements via her alternative fire mode. Combined with her consumable set, she will be able to both support your team and mitigate her vulnerability to torpedoes due to her large size. Okay, this is absurd. I don't know exactly how this is going to work because it's such a stupidly big ship. You know, the point of light cruisers is that they're smaller and quicker than heavy cruisers. You know, they can dart between islands. You know, they can play the island juke games, you know, where you're popping in and out of an island cover, right? How in the world are you going to do that with Hawaii? How? You know, you're going to have to sit behind an island the entire time because with this rebuilt command structure, superstructure, that's so much to farm. Like, Battleship AP is going to obliterate the HP of this thing through that superstructure. Like the amount of superstructure on the Hawaii is making the German battleships blush, right? Like, that's just going to get farmed. And then, I mean, yeah, the Alaska hull is rather tanky for a cruiser, but, like, you know, you have the Alaska's guns to back it up. This, I mean, I just see this thing getting bullied. I mean, who knows? We talked about this in the Assault Ships and Scuttlebutt podcast because this picture did leak, although with many less pixels. But, like, yeah, it's... I thought they might, you know, maybe give it some tactical squadrons or something to emphasize that it's a command ship. You know, it can call in support, it can call in planes, or something like that. I figured it was going to get some type of funny button like the alternative firing mode. But let's go ahead and take a look at her stats now. So 71,000 HP, 27mm plating, 60-second fires. 60-second fires. Oh, that much real estate? Okay. So you get HE and AP shells, and the HE shells only pin 21mm of armor. There's no sap here. Whew. Whew. You know, with sap, sure, it could happen, but AP, 21mm of HE pin, 9% fire chance though. I mean, that's pretty good. You know, that's without building into it. 2.05 Sigma. What's the range? 18.3 kilometers. Holy. Solid ballistics. Okay. If this has the American shell air drag, that ain't happening at 18 kilometers. Oh my god. 18 kilometers? My god. What's the reload time? 6 seconds. I mean, she has 12 guns, so, you know, 24 all in all. That is a lot. And you do have the firing mode, right? Alternative firing mode, reload time 3 seconds, burst interval 1 second, shots in the series 1. So you get a quick, like, da-donk. Okay. But it only has a 3-second reload time. So what, you can just do like da-donk, then 3 seconds later another da-donk. Okay, unless I'm reading that wrong. Reload time 3 seconds, burst interval 1 second, shots in the series 1. So it only takes 3 seconds to reload? So why would you not just... Oh, okay. Because what I'm reading here is, why in the hell would you ever go to the standard firing mode? Because it's 6 seconds. But with... Okay, there's literally no reason to not use the alternative firing mode. What... They say what it did. Alternative fire, which provided major boost of reload speed at the cost of 70. Oh, they reduced the main battery gun range. Okay. See, it doesn't say after the alternative firing mode what the downside is in the dev blog. So, with an 18.3 kilometer range, what do we think, boys? 12, 13 kilometers after you go to the alternative firing mode? Maybe. Okay, so we'll see. You get the airstrike for the ASW. All right, consumables, damage con, repair party, hydro, DFAA, surveillance radar. I really think, like, again, command ship, it should have hydro and DFAA in separate slots and the radar. I mean, like, unless this thing's guns are way crazier than they look on paper, I just don't see what this, like, what is this going to do in battle that, like, an Austin doesn't do, or a, like, even like a San Diego, because it has SAP at least. Again, we'll see. But on paper, I'm not too optimistic about the Hawaii. So yeah, but we'll see. And last and most certainly not least, and probably one of the biggest out of the frickin' blue moments of 2025. Yes, it gets crazier, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We have the French submarine Surcouf. Now, you might be thinking, oh my god, another submarine. I'm thinking, oh my god, they're actually doing it. I've actually been wanting this ship for quite some time.
Shoot him! Cut out his tongue!
Shoot him and cut out his tongue, then shoot his tongue.
Now, hold on before you unsubscribe from the channel. It's a gunboat sub, okay? It actually has pretty terrible torpedoes from what I read. I might have misread it. We're going to go through it again here. But it's a submarine with an 8-inch turret. Like, I don't think this thing's going to be going underwater too much in its escapades. But let's go ahead and read about it. The one, the only, Surcouf was the only member of her class built by the Marine Nationale, originally as a way to get around treaty limitations on cruisers by arming a large submarine with similar firepower. The most notable and obvious feature was her 203mm gun turret, using the same weapons as those found on French interwar heavy cruisers. Eventually, the loophole Surcouf exploited was closed by subsequent treaties, but she was retained and operated throughout the interwar period. During this time, it was determined that she would be able to surface and fire the weapon in just over 3 minutes. After French fell, she fled to England, where she was seized by the British and eventually turned over to the Free French Naval Forces. In February 1942, the submarine went missing. A coal hauler ran her over, allegedly, or a PBY accidentally mistook her for a German U-boat. Subsequent investigations determined that it may have been the result. Oh, there we go. A collision with a merchant ship, or even the case of friendly fire by a patrolling PBY ASW aircraft. As the wreck has not been discovered, it is still unknown what caused her loss. Yeah, that's one of the interesting mysteries of the war. Is what the hell happened to the Surcouf? They still haven't found the wreck today, so that's be interesting if that thing ever turns up. Surcouf combines the general playstyle of a destroyer with the ability to dive rather than deploy a smoke screen. Her characteristics lend to her play primarily on the surface thanks to her large gun armament. Improved French engine boost, usable underwater as well, oh no, and a large amount of hit points. Her twin 203mm gun turret is supplemented with a main battery reload booster typical for ships of the French Navy. Surcouf really is one of a kind. She'll also be the first submarine to have access to the ASW airstrike. What? On the other hand, she does not have access to hydrophone, and her submarine surveillance consumable has reduced parameters. Her torpedo armament is also unique for a submarine. The Surcouf is the first submarine in our game that does not have access to acoustic torpedoes or sonar. She has 4 forward torpedo tubes and 2 stern-based triple launchers capable of firing to each side, but only when surfaced. This allows her to present a limited torpedo threat from a broadside to help compensate for poor agility. Her torpedoes in general have a good damage, solid range, and decent speed for her tier, but a long reload. In general, Surcouf is a well-armed and versatile vessel when operating on the surface, with a solid gun and torpedo armament allowing her to engage all manner of targets effectively. Submerging should generally be reserved for stealthy movement, since a large part of Surcouf's toolkit becomes unavailable underwater. So, look, this is as much of a gunboat destroyer as they can make this thing while still calling it a submarine. You can't use the torpedoes when you submerge, right? You'll have to be on the surface to fight. So I think that's a fair trade-off for slapping an 8-inch turret on a submarine. Now, I would like to do some clarification. The torpedoes. Surface or periscope depth? A lot of the issues with submarines is that, when they're at periscope depth, they can still use their full speed and such. So if you're at periscope depth, do you still get to use the torpedoes, or is you have to be fully surfaced to use the torpedoes? So I would like some clarification on that. All right. So hit points 31,600 on the Surcouf 19mm plating. Dive capacity 260 units. It depletes 1 unit a second and recharges 1 unit a second. Alright, her main battery gun, 13.5 kilometer range. Her HE shells do 2,800 damage, 34 millimeters a pin, and 15% fire chance. Her AP shells do 4,800 maximum damage, and she has an 8-second reload time, so with the boost, 4 seconds. 180-degree turn time is 10 seconds, maximum dispersion 116 meters, and a sigma of 2.0. She gets one flight of the ASW aircraft with a 45-second reload time. Alright, torpedo tubes. 4x1 of the forward tubes, like they mentioned, and 2x3 of the stern. Oh, they're different sized torpedoes. So 550s in the front and 400s in the back. But looks like they have the same parameters. Maximum damage is 16,333 with a 12-kilometer range, 69 knot top speed, 70-second reload time, and they're detectable from 1.4 kilometers away. 2 stern torpedo tube loaders and 4 in the bow. So the 4 in the bow reload all at once. 32 knot top speed, 610 meter turning circle radius, and rudder shift time of 9.7 seconds. On the surface, she's that's quite stealthy. 5.7 kilometers concealed on the surface. That's pretty good. 3.7 kilometer detection range after firing her main guns in smoke. She gets fast damage con teams, 5-second duration, 45-second reload time, 4 charges base. Submarine surveillance that is active for 60 seconds, and spotting range at maximum depth is 6 kilometers. Preparation time to begin battles 330 seconds, 120-second reload time, and 2 charges. She gets the main battery reload booster, 10 seconds, 75% reload time buff though, so you're gonna get down to darn near a second with that. Yeah, darn near a second. You have an 8-second reload time. Again, depending upon your build and such too. So you get a nice little burst out of that. My God. 4 charges available only while surfaced. Duh. Engine boost, duration time at 180 seconds, maximum speed 20%, reload time of 90 seconds and 3 charges, so a 20% buff to the speed, and 90-second reload time. That's not long at all. What's your speed underwater? I don't think they don't mention it here. Okay, so this is definitely a ship that you show up next to somebody, you point your twin 8-inch guns at their hull, pop your reload booster, citadel the ever-loving crap out of them, and you try to submerge and run away with your engine boost as fast as possible. So I'm more okay with it because you have to be surface to, use your turret, obviously. And the torpedoes do seem pretty lackluster as they are. And this is a historical, real still ship. So, again, anytime one of those guys come to the game, it's a good day, in my humble opinion. So I'm really interested in the Surcouf. I'm probably going to suck with it whenever it comes out, but I've actually, mentioned a couple of videos that this is a ship I would very much like to see in game in this, similar playstyle too. So cool. I'm glad they're adding it. I know submarine bad, but it's a cool historical ship. I think it's neat. So that's it for the new ships. They do reveal Comandante Aguirre's model here. It's still not the one that really existed, but there it is. All right. And we have some rarity of new ships. The Bridgeport is going to be an epic. The Indiana is going to be an epic. The Ocean is going to be a rare. Lushan B will be an epic. Alright guys, so that's, oh my god, that's over a half an hour of a DevBlog video, my god. Alright, well let me know what you guys think about these new ships. So, I am excited for Bremen and Surcouf. I am confused as hell about Hawaii, and not that hyped for the Aki and the Roussillon. We'll see what the Roussillon's like when she comes out. Nurnberg and Lanzhou, just kind of okay for me. But yeah, really excited about the Surcouf. I know I'm going to catch some flack for that, but it's an interesting take on submarine gameplay. It's like the least annoying sub so far because it has to surface for it to do anything to you. So there's that. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a wonderful Friday. I will be live streaming right here on the channel tonight from around 5 p.m. U.S. Central Time to 8 p.m. U.S. Central Time here on the channel and on Twitch. So make sure you guys come out for that. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a wonderful weekend. And I hope to catch you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful Labor Day weekend for my fellow Americans. And I hope to catch you guys in the next one.